Welcome to Stories at Night, a quiet place to slow down, curl up under a blanket, and let your imagination wander. Some stories will make you smile, some might give you chills, and others will linger like a dream long after the night ends. So dim the lights, get comfortable, and let the story take you away. This is story 6 of Thanksgiving week. Stuff. Thanksgiving night, 11:47 p.m., Redwood County backroads. Jade Morgan's boots crunched through the frozen leaves as she walked the winding dirt road toward the only house for miles, an enormous 3-story farmhouse glowing warm embers through its windows. It looked almost welcoming, until the lights flickered like someone was walking in front of them. Jade pulled her jacket tighter, breath curling into the cold night. Her car had broken down 6 miles back, dead battery, no reception, and her last good option had been walking until she found shelter. She didn't know the place, didn't know the people, didn't know why the hairs on her arms had been raised since the second she stepped into the woods. But something in the air felt wrong, off, like being watched. Still, the house was the only chance she had of not freezing to death. So she walked the long, sloping driveway. As she approached, she noticed something odd. The front yard was filled with not decorations, not pumpkins, not leftovers. Carcasses. Turkeys. Dozens of them. Some plucked, some half-carved, some barely recognizable. The bodies lay in strange spiral formation around the yard. Blood stained the snow in a swirling pattern. Jade's breath hitched. Nope. She stepped back. Absolutely not. A light snapped on above the porch. A man's voice boomed. Hello there! Jade jerked, eyes wide. A tall, broad-shouldered man stepped onto the porch, face warm and smiling under a peppered beard. He wore a festive Thanksgiving sweater, sleeves dusted with flour. Car trouble? He asked. Jade hesitated, eyeing the spiral of dead birds. What's with all the, poultry? The man gave a hearty laugh. Prepping for the feast. Big family gathering tonight. You know how it is. Jade blinked. Dozens of turkeys? We're very hungry people. His smile didn't move to his eyes. Before she could decide to run, the door swung open again. A woman stepped out, round-faced, warm, grandmotherly, wearing a cranberry-red apron. Oh, sweetheart, she gasped. You must be freezing! The man ushered her forward. Come on in. We're just about to serve dessert. Dessert? It's almost midnight. Jade forced a polite smile. I really don't want to intrude. Oh, nonsense, the woman said, taking her hand. Her grip was ice cold. Company is always a blessing. Jade swallowed. Something deep in her gut screamed at her to run, but the temperature was dangerously low, and frostbite was setting into her fingers. And the woman's grip was surprisingly strong. Please, she whispered, just for a minute, warm up. Jade stepped onto the porch. The door closed behind her with a soft click. She didn't like the sound of that. Warmth hit her like a wave. The interior smelled like cinnamon, roasted meat, and something metallic she couldn't place. The dining table was massive, set for 15 people, each chair filled. Every face turned toward Jade, every smile too wide, too cheerful, too hungry. Everyone, the tall man announced dramatically. This is Jade. A chorus of greetings echoed around the table. The old woman beamed. Sit, dear, sit. We were just about to serve the stuffing. Jade swallowed hard. The centerpiece of the table was a partially carved turkey. Something was wrong with it. The shape was wrong, the color wrong, the smell wrong, and the stuffing? It oozed. Wet, pinkish, shivering slightly. She tried not to gag. The tall man clapped his hands. Now then, who wants seconds? Every hand at the table shot up. Jade managed a thin smile. I should really get a ride back to town. Nonsense, the old woman insisted. Eat, then we'll talk. A girl of about 12, leaning close to Jade, eyes too large, too bright. Eat something, she whispered. It gets angry if you don't. Jade blinked. It? The girl put a finger to his lips. Jade's heart hammered. The tall man carved another slice of turkey and placed it on a plate. He slid it toward her. The meat twitched. Jade pushed the plate away instinctively. A few family members inhaled sharply. The old woman's smile stiffened. Now, dear, she said gently, that's not very polite. Jade backed her chair up. I'm sorry, I'm not hungry. The air shifted. A ripple of tension passed through the room. All eyes locked on her. A man with a long scar across his cheek leaned forward. You don't get it, he rasped. Nobody leaves the feast hungry. Another woman giggled. We all eat every bite. Her tongue slid across her teeth. Her teeth were slightly too sharp. Jade stared. I appreciate the hospitality, but I really need to. Something clicked under her foot. She looked down. Her boot was on a tripwire. Her blood froze. Oh, shh! A metal grate slammed shut over the front door. Another over the back. All windows locked simultaneously. The old woman sighed. Oh, sweetheart, she said, you really should have eaten. Jade stepped back. The girl grabbed her wrist suddenly. Run! She hissed. Jade wrenched her arm free. The tall man roared, Get her! The family lurched to their feet, and Jade bolted. Chairs toppled, dishes shattered, screams echoed. She sprinted for the hallway, feet pounding, hands grabbing, fingers brushing her jacket. She pushed through a doorway into a narrow corridor, slamming the door behind her. Something slammed into it from the other side. Jade stumbled backward, nearly falling. Her lungs burned. Her pulse thundered. She barely escaped, but she wasn't safe. Not even close. The hallway was long, lined with old portraits of the same family members, smiling too wide, eyes too black, skin too pale. Jade swallowed hard. A door at the end of stood slightly ajar. She heard fate scratching from inside. She had two choices: back towards the Cannibal Thanksgiving family, or towards the scratching. Get, she whispered. Forward. Crept down the hallway. The scratching grew louder, wet, animal-like, desperate. She reached the door, pushed it open, and her breath caught. It wasn't a pantry. It was a butchering room. Hoods hung from the ceiling. Buckets lined the wall. Carcasses, human and animal, were piled in a corner. And at the center, a man was strapped to a chair. Alive. Barely. His skin looked gray. His belly was stretched crudely, trembling. He lifted his head slowly. His voice rasped. Help me. Jade staggered forward. What did they do to you? He coughed, a thick, wet sound. They'd fed me stuffing. Jade froze. No, no, wait, that's not possible. His stomach twitched violently. Something inside moved, shifted, pressed against his skin. Jade whispered, horrified, It's inside you. He gagged. Blood trickled from the corner of his mouth. They put it in all of us. Every year. It grows. So it spreads. He convulsed. Jade grabbed his hand. I'm getting you out. No! He choked, eyes wide. Run! You have to run! He seized again, and his stomach burst. Jade screamed. An explosion of wet, pinkish, withering stuff erupted out from him. But it wasn't food. It was alive. A mass of fleshly tendrils and teeth-like cartilage shot outward, latching onto the floor, the walls, the ceiling, searching, hunting. The man collapsed dead. Jade stumbled backward, slipping in the blood, scrambling away from the creature. The fleshy mass turned towards her. It shivered, then launched itself at her. Jade dove behind a table. The creature splattered against it, then began crawling around the wood, fast, hungry. Jade grabbed a butcher knife from the wall and slashed. The blade cut a chunk of the mass off, but the chunk wiggled away, alive. Oh, hell no! She bolted for the door. The mass chased her, tendrils smacking the floor, willing. She dove through the doorway, slamming the door shut behind her. The tendrils smacked the other side. Jade backed away, panting. From the dining room, she heard the tall man roar, "Find her! She's ruining the feast!" Footsteps thundered, doors slammed open. Someone growled. Jade wiped blood from her face. Her hands shook. Her breath became ragged. She whispered to herself, "Get out, get out. I gotta get out!" The house creaked. Someone stepped into the hallway behind her. Slow, heavy, smiling. "Found you," the old woman whispered. Jade didn't turn. She ran. Jade tore down the hallway, boots slipping on blood-soaked hardwood as the old woman followed her at an unsettling pace. Slow, steady, certain. Not chasing. Stalking. "Don't run, dear," the woman cooed, voice floating like a lullaby. "It's Thanksgiving. Everyone eats on Thanksgiving." Jade ducked into the side room, slammed the door, locked the deadbolt, and braced her back against it as something heavy slammed on the other side. Thud, thud, thud. She gasped for breath. "Please!" she shouted, voice cracking. "Just let me go!" The old woman laughed softly. "Oh, sweetheart, if you didn't want to be eaten, you shouldn't have come inside." Jade scanned the room. A parlor, old couches, a fireplace, a decorative glass cabinet of porcelain figurines staring with dead black eyes. And across the room, another door. She ran for it. Crack! The door behind her splintered. The old woman's hand pushed through the crack, fingers long and impossibly strong. Jade flung herself into the next room, a library, sprinting through shelves stacked haphazardly with dusty books. Behind her, the old woman shoved through the door fully, her smile widening impossibly. "You'll tire before I do." "Lady, I hope you break a hip!" Jade screamed, ducking under a shelf and running again. She slid around a corner, through an archway, knocking books over to slow her pursuer, and sprinted around until the air burned in her lungs. Finally, a staircase. Downstairs. Basement. Maybe a door, maybe a window, maybe something she could use as a weapon. Jade didn't think. She just ran. The basement door hung half open. A faint orange glow seeped from below. Jade crept down the stairs, careful not to slip, and stopped halfway down. Oh my god. Basement wasn't a basement. It was a British cathedral. Strong lights draped across beams, books dangled from chains. A long wooden table stretched across the center, stained, hacked, scarred. But what made Jade's stomach twist weren't the tools, it was the family. They knelt around a circle of drawn and dried blood on the floor, chanting in low, humming tones, their heads bowed. At the center of the circle, a massive mound of that same fleshy, withering, stuffing creature, larger than any turkey, large enough to fill a bathtub. It pulsed like a beating heart. A man knelt beside it, caressing the mass lovingly. Almost ready, he whispered. Our harvest has never grown so strong. Jade gagged silently. What the hell was that? A girl, maybe 17, maybe younger, had a slit across her own palm and let blood drip onto the creature. It shuddered and grew. Jade covered her mouth to keep from screaming. Then someone behind her whispered, Don't interrupt the blessing. Jade whirled. A gaunt man stood inches behind her, eyes sunken, grin too wide. She didn't hesitate. She elbowed him in the face. He howled and fell backward. The family below turned at the noise. Intruder! Someone shrieked. Jade bolted down the rest of the stairs, saw another door on the far side of the basement. She sprinted for it, but the tall man, the one who greeted her outside, appeared in front of her like a shadow. His smile stretched. Oh no, dear, you don't get to leave yet. Jade swung a metal ladle she grabbed without thinking. It clanged off his forehead. He blinked once, then smiled wider. Jade whispered, Oh shit. He grabbed her jacket, lifted her off the ground, and threw her across the room. Jade slammed into the metal table, pain exploding up her spine. Air knocked from her chest. She struggled to breathe. Tall man stalked toward her. The ritual's almost complete, he said. Be patient. He'll be the last course. Jade's eyes darted around. Hooks, knives, saws, rusted tools, a propane tank in the corner. And then, behind the man, she saw her chance. A massive meat hook dangling above him, held in place by a simple latch. He hit the release. The hook would drop directly onto him. Jade forced herself to move, hands shaking, crawling toward a metal pipe on the floor. Grabbing it, the tall man paused, amused. Still fighting? Good. It tenderized the meat. Jade swung the pipe toward the latch. Missed. The man lunged too fast, grabbing her throat, but Jade raised the pipe again and slammed it into the latch. Clang! The hook dropped right into the tall man's shoulder. He roared, the sound monstrous, pinned by his own butcher's tool. Jade scrambled away as he thrashed. Blood poured down his arm. The family shouted in horror. No! Brother! Save him! Jade grabbed a bone saw from the table. Swinging toward him, he snarled, I'll rip you open! Jade screamed and swung the saw. Once, twice, 3 times. The blade cut through flesh, through bone, through spine. His head dropped to the floor with a dull thud. His body sagged on the hook. The family wailed. Jade staggered backward, dropping the saw, shaking uncontrollably. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Then she noticed the monstrous mound of stuffing creature was reacting. Shook, shuddered, grew. Death of the tall man had fed it. Jade whispered, horrified, Oh hell, killing them makes it stronger. Jade turned towards her only option, the basement's far door. She sprinted. The family lunged. Hands grabbed, fingers scraped, teeth snapped, screams echoed. Jade reached the door, shoved it open, and ran into the dark corridor beyond. The hallway was older, rotting, uneven, walls covered in hundreds of portraits, all of the same family line, generation after generation. But something was wrong. Some of the portraits moved. Their eyes followed her, their smiles twitched. One painting's mouth dripped something dark and sticky. Jade tightened her fists. None of you better come out of those frames, she snapped, voice shaking. One portrait whispered, Smell. Jade froze, then pulled a lamp from the side table and hurled it at the painting. The glass shattered. The portrait screamed. Not the person in it. The painting screamed. Jade spun away as the paint bubbled and melted the skin. "What the fuck is this house?" she screamed. The corridor widened, leading to a huge wooden door. She pushed it open and stopped. A long dining table covered in ancient documents, jars of preserved organs, taxidermied animals arranged around the room. But one thing pulled Jade in: a massive leather-bound journal titled "The First Feast, 1846." Jade flipped it open, her eyes scanning the brittle pages, and bile rose in her throat. Entry 1. "We found it in the woods. Not an animal, not a person. Something in between." Entry 2. "It whispered in our minds. It taught us how to survive the winter, how to hunt, how to grow." Entry 3. "We fed it. Animals at first, then wanderers." Jade gagged. The next entry had a drawing of the stuffing creature, tendrils, teeth, a pulsing heart shape. Entry 4. "We discovered its hunger matches our own. The more we feed it, the stronger it becomes. The more it gives us in return." Entry 5. "On Thanksgiving night, we partake of it. We eat the flesh, and in return, we stay alive." Jade clutched the journal to her chest. "These people aren't just cannibals," she whispered. "They're cultists. They weren't eating animals. The stuffing wasn't stuffing. It was the creature's spawn, fed with human sacrifices." And she was next. A floorboard creaked behind her. Jade spun. The old woman stopped in the doorway. Her eyes were black pits. Her mouth stretched. Her hands twitched like claws. "You made a mess downstairs, dear," she whispered. Jade backed away. "The whole place is insane. Your family, your traditions, this thing." The old woman sighed wistfully. "It has kept us alive for 178 years." She reached out. "And now you'll help us keep alive a little longer." Jade flung the heavy journal at her face. It cracked loudly against the old woman's skull. Jade sprinted past her. The old woman shrieked, "Get her!" Jade slammed the door behind her and sprinted back into the hallway. She needed a phone, an exit, a weapon, anything. But as she ran, the entire house seemed to shift. Walls groaned, floors creaked, portraits whispered, and from somewhere deep inside, she heard the monstrous stuffing creature growling. It pulsed, screamed, it hungered. Jane's only thought: this is going to get a hell of a lot worse. Jade sprinted through twisting hallways, each one lit by flickering amber bulbs that buzzed like swarms of insects. Old wooden floors creaked beneath her boots, but the footsteps chasing her were louder, heavier, several sets. The family wasn't stalking quietly anymore. They were hunting. Jade rounded a corner, slid across the warped floorboards, and nearly pitched headfirst down a steep, narrow staircase. Shit! She grabbed the railing and steadied herself, chest heaving. From behind, thud, thud, thud. They were getting closer. No time to think. Bolted down the stairs. The basement below was colder, darker, musty air, heavy with earth and rot. Jade flipped on the light switch. Nothing. She pulled out her phone, out of instinct. Dead. No surprise. Her pulse hammered in her skull as she felt her way along the damp brick walls, searching for anything sharp, anything usable. Her hand brushed something on a shelf. A gardening tool? A rusty trowel. Better than nothing. She grabbed it and crept deeper. Her boots squashed into something wet, something warm. She froze. "Please be mud," she whispered. It wasn't mud. Her phone screen, though died, caught a reflection of faint light through a small basement window, enough to reveal a severed arm, fingers curled, skin drained gray. Jade staggered back and clamped over her mouth to choke down a scream. Okay, she trembled. Okay, right, of course. Normal horror house decor. Then something behind her shifted. A wet, dragging sound. Slow, thick, alive. Jade spun. No, no, no! The stuffing creature, large, pulsing mass, oozed into the root cellar through a vent slat. But it wasn't small anymore. It was enormous. Trendles unfolding like grotesque intestines slapping the floor and walls. Core pulsed like a raw, beating heart. Pinkish, fleshy, glistening, teeth like cartilage clattered inside its fold. And then a head began forming, skull-like structure pushing out from the middle. Teeth of bone, hollow eye sockets, gaping maw of withering tendrils. Jade whispered, Dear God. It opened its mouth and screamed! Not a sound, a wet, animalistic, gripping howl that shook dust from the rafters. Jade stumbled back towards the stairs. Just as the new sound echoed overhead, the family screaming back, echoing, answering like a pack hearing itself. Jade ran. Burst through the door at the top of the cellar stairs, slamming it shut and gauging the bolt. She backed away, panting. She could hear the massive bellow pounding against the door. But worse, she heard something above. Voices singing a Thanksgiving hymn, warbling off key, disjointed. Jade crept towards the living room as she saw them. The family stood in a circle, holding hands, heads tilted back, singing nonsense syllables that sounded like a prayer. As they sang, their bodies began to twitch, arms jerking, spines bending, muscles spasming. Jade back up in horror. The old woman stepped forward first, her jaw dislocated with a wet pop, her fingers elongated, nails sharpening into claws. Her skin bubbled, swelling as tendrils wiggled underneath her flesh. She smiled at Jade, teeth too long now. You're interrupted the blessing, dear. Her voice gurgled with phlegm. You've starved us. The tall one beside her doubled over, stomach splitting open, revealing stuffing tendrils reaching outward like hungry worms. Another man's eyes rolled back, veins turning dark, as something inside him crawled up his throat. Jade gagged. Nope! Absolutely fuck this! She turned to run, but a man blocked her path. Still, mid-transformation, blood poured from his nose. His teeth fell out. New ones pushed through, sharp and jagged. He hissed, Stay for dinner. Jade threw the trowel at his face. It bounced off harmlessly. Okay, she panted. Terrible weapon. Good note. She ducked under him, sprinting through the dining room as chairs overturned and transformed family members lunged at her. A claw ripped her shoulder. She cried out, bolted through the swinging door, and slammed into a metal cart full of food trays. Her eyes widened. The kitchen. Knives, fire, heat, gas lines. Weapons everywhere. She scrambled across the floor and grabbed the biggest knife she could find, a full chef's cleaver. From behind the swinging door, a growl echoed, Come out, come. Fuck that. Jade crept toward the industrial stove, studying the gas lines. If she could rupture one, create a spark, ignite the whole kitchen, she could fry this entire house. Turned the knobs, listened. Hiss. The gas flowed. Jade looked for a lighter, a match, anything. Footsteps squelched on the tile behind her. She spun. A family member shambled into view. He was half morphine, arms bloating, veins black, teeth sharpened, sniffed the air. You smell delicious. Jade grabbed a cast iron pan, lunged at her. She swung it. Hard. Cling. He dropped to the floor, twitching. Jade didn't wait. She dragged him towards the gas burners, propped him on top of the stove, turned every knob to full. Enjoy being the turkey, she asked. She grabbed a box of matches from the counter, struck it, and tossed it. Whoosh! Stove ignited into a fireball. The man shrieked as flames consumed him. Jade sprinted away before the fire spread, but not fast enough. A flaming limb smacked her back. Ah! She rolled across the floor, jacket smoking. Then the kitchen door burst open. The old woman, fully transformed now, crawled in on elongated limbs like a grotesque spider. Her jaw hung loose. Her eyes were pitch black voids. Her fingers were bone-thin knives. She hissed, "Ruined!" Her body jerked violently, something bulging beneath her skin, as if dozens of tendrils were fighting to escape. Then she lunged. Jade raised her cleaver. The old woman slammed into her. Both crashed across the tile. Jade kicked her off and scrambled up. The old woman scuttled backward like a spider and moved forward faster than Jade could blink. Jade swung the cleaver. It buried halfway into the woman's neck, but she did not stop. She grabbed Jade's wrist, fingers like bone clamps, and squeezed. Jade screamed as her hand bent backward. Old woman pulled her face close. "Carve you open like a pie." Jade snarled through the pain. "Try it, Granny!" She jabbed her knee upward into the woman's stomach. The stitched wound burst open, unleashing a wave of wiggling, stuffing tendrils. They snapped at Jade's face. She gagged, then grabbed a metal pot and slammed it over the woman's head. The creature screamed, clawing at it blindly. Jade wrenched the cleaver free, blood geysering across them both. The woman collapsed, but still breathing, still twitching, still alive. Jade screamed and bucked the cleaver down, once, twice, 3 times, until the body stopped moving. Jade stumbled back, panting, hands shaking, face splattered, chest heaving. She whispered, "I'm not dying in this house." But the house creaked around her. A monstrous stuffing creature below screamed, this time loud enough to rattle dishes from shelves. Jade froze, because the scream wasn't angry, it was hungry, and it knew she had killed one of its own. It was coming. Jade ran toward the hallway, but the lights flickered and died. The house rumbled, floorboards buckling upward, doors slamming shut, windows cracking. The creature below was growing again, and the house could not contain it. Jade sprinted toward the main hall. Family members in various stages of the transformation spilled out of the rooms, shrieking. Jade dodged claws, ducked under jaws, slid across blood-slick floors, and made for the stairs leading to the second floor. Higher ground, maybe a window, maybe a way out. As she climbed, the entire staircase shook. A tendril burst from the floorboards below, snapping at her ankle. She kicked it away and kept climbing. Someone grabbed her from behind. Claws raked her arm. She spun with the cleaver and buried it into a man's eye socket. He dropped. She kept running. The second floor was quieter, dark. Jade pressed her back against the wall, chest heaving, blood dripping down her arm. She whispered, "Okay, don't panic." Thinking was hard. Every breath trembled, every muscle screamed. Her vision blurred with adrenaline and terror. Then a sound. Soft, shivering, weeping. Jade tensed as she raised the cleaver, but peered into a bedroom and saw a figure curled in the corner. A girl, maybe 10 years old. The same girl who whispered to her earlier at the table. Jade stepped closer. "Hey!" The girl looked up, tears spilling from hollow eyes. "You need to run," she whispered. "You need to get out." "Trying," Jade said softly. "Help me?" The girl trembled. "They'll kill you, or worse. They'll make you one of us." Jade crouched. "You're not like them?" The girl's gaze darkened. "I wasn't born like them. I was fed." Jade swallowed. "The stuffing?" The girl nodded slowly. "It's growing inside of us, changing us, makes us hungry." Jade felt cold all over. "But you're not fully changed?" "Not yet," the girl whispered. "I don't want to change. I don't want to be a monster." Jade reached for her hand. "What's your name?" "Ava. Ava. I'm going to get us both out of both of us." Ava shook her head violently. "Can't save me. It's too late. But I can help you escape." She pointed towards the far end of the hall. "There's a window that leads to the roof. You can get down the trellis." It stood. "Come with me." Ava didn't move. Tears streamed down her face. "They'll know. They'll sense me leaving. They'll tear me apart." Jade reached for her. Ava recoiled. "Go!" she sobbed. From below, the stuffing creature bored through the floorboards. Time was gone. Jade swallowed hard. "I'm coming back for you." Ava shook her head, crying. Jade turned and sprinted toward the window. As Jade reached the end of the hall, a massive tendril punched through the wall next to her, missing her head by inches. The stuffing monster had reached the second floor. It was coming, and Jade was running out of rooms, running out of weapons, running out of options. But she wasn't running out of fight. She slashed the tendril with the cleaver and dove through the window. Cold air slapped Jade's face as she burst through the window. She grabbed the sloped shingles, sliding for a terrifying second, boots skidding, glass cutting her palms, before she caught the gutter with a desperate hand. "Shit, shit, shit. Don't fall!" She swung a leg up, hooked her knee, and hauled herself onto the roof. Below her, the yard stretched out. Dark pines, snow, a spiral of dead turkeys glistening like grotesque decorations. Every window in the house glowed orange. Screaming echoed upward. Something inside was moving too fast, growing too large. Jade staggered to her feet and started running across the roof toward the trellis on the far side. A window below exploded outward. A tendril shot through, whipping across the roof tiles. Jade dove flat. The tendril slashed air above her head, splitting shingles, spraying splinters. She scrambled up and hustled towards the roof's edge. Then she heard it, a wet, bone-deep howl from inside the house, and the sound of wood splinting. No! Wood being shoved aside. Jade turned. The entire middle of the house was bulging outward. The roofline trembled. Support beams groaned. Something massive was climbing. "No, no, no, no!" The monster emerges. The roof ripped open. A monstrous shape pushed through the rafters. A writhing conglomeration of tendrils and cartilage. and bone, bigger than a bear, bigger than a bull, bigger than anything that should exist. Its flesh pulsed, shimmering like raw meat. Stuffing beast grown to obscene size from the depths that fed it. New skull crept upward, forming from twisting gristle, teeth sliding into place like knives, jaw splitting into three. It screeched at the sky. The sound blasted shingles off the roof. Jade braced herself, hands clamped to her ears. Inside the house, the transformed family howled back like a choir of dying animals. The creature rotated its deformed skull and locked onto Jade. She whispered, "Fuck." It lurched. Jade bolted for the trellis. The monster heaved its body forward, its tendrils slapping the roof like massive tentacles. Each impact shook the house. Jade reached the edge and swung a leg over. One tendril lashed sideways, caught her ankle, and yanked. Jade screamed, slammed onto her back, slid across the roof towards the monster's gaping maw. No! No! Let go! She jammed the cleaver into the tendril, sliced partway through. Black, tar-like fluid sprayed across her chest, but the tendril did not let go. It dragged her closer. The monster opened its three-part jaw, rows of cartilage teeth. It wanted to swallow her whole. Jay roared and hacked the cleaver down. Harder, harder. The tendrils severed. Jade shot backward from the recoil, tumbled across the roof, dropped off the edge. She fell. Hit the trellis, snapped the three wooden slats, grabbed flying back instinct, and dangled 20 feet above the ground. Her shoulder screamed in agony. Her breath tore from her lungs, but she was alive. Above her, the tendril stump whipped wildly, spraying black ichor like a sprinkler. The monster shrieked in fury. Jade scrambled down the vines, boots slipping, vines tearing, dropping the last 6 feet into the snow. She rolled, came up gasping, then froze. The girl stood at the corner of the house, small, shaking, her dark eyes glistening with fear. "Jade," she whispered, "he knows you cut it." Jade rushed to her, grabbing her arms. "We have to go. Now! Now!" Eva sobbed. "I can't. I told you. I can't leave. I'll sense it." "Then stay behind me," Jade said. "I'll cover you." Eva shook her head violently. "No. No, Jade. I mean, I can't leave." Her small hand lifted. Her sleeve slid down. The veins beneath her skin shimmered an unnatural red-black. Jade's stomach dropped. "Eva? What did they do to you?" Eva sobbed harder. "It's inside me. I hear it. I feel it." Jade pressed a hand to her mouth. "No. No. Please tell me it's new. Tell me you haven't." Eva shook her head. "It's been growing all year." A tendril twitched beneath her shirt. Jade whispered, voice breaking, "Baby, no." Eva backed away from her. "You have to run now," she said, "because when it breaks free, I won't be me anymore." Jade reached toward her. "Eva!" Eva screamed suddenly, her spine arching, mouth stretching open too far, eyes rolling back, tendrils bursting against her skin, pushing up like snakes under fabric. She choked out, "Jade, run! Run! Run!" And Jade did. She turned and sprinted toward the tree line as Ava's body convulsed behind her, her screams twisting into wet, horrible, gurgling shrieks. And Jade heard a final sound that would haunt her forever. Ava's ribs splinting. Green. The monster tore through the house roof entirely, Its massive body spilling over the broken walls like a grotesque waterfall of meat and tendrils. It dragged itself after Jade, roaring in rage. Jade sprinted into the forest, branches slapping at her face, snow flying, lungs burning. Behind her, thud, thud, slap, crunch. The creature pursued, tendrils smashing trees aside, uprooting trunks, tearing huge gouges through the forest floor. Jade dove behind a fallen log as the tendril slammed down where she had been, splintering wood. She crawled, scrambled, forced her legs to keep going. She spotted a hunting cabin deep ahead, small, dark, possibly abandoned, but it was shelter, a place to gather herself, a place to figure out how to fight. She ran for it. Trendle whipped around a pine tree and yanked it from the ground. The entire tree flew toward her. She dove flat. It slammed down inches from her head. Jade gasped for air and bolted. The cabin door was chained shut. She grabbed the chain with shaking hands. Pulled, pulled. A massive shadow loomed behind her. The ground shook. Screamed and rammed her boot into the door. Crack! The door splintered open. Jade stumbled inside, slammed it, and collapsed behind it. Her entire body shook, breath ripping out of her lungs. She listened. The monster's trundle slithered across the snow outside, searching, listening, tasting the air. A deep, low, deep, monstrous growl rumbled through the forest. Hungry! Jade covered her mouth with both hands, tears leaking out. Barely able to breathe, the monster scraped its tendrils along the cabin walls, testing, probing, looking for a way in. She held her breath, held still, waited. After an eternity, the tendrils slid away. The forest went quiet. Not safe, not really, but quiet. Jade slumped against the door. She had a moment, a tiny moment. She needed a weapon, a plan, a miracle. She wiped her face, exhaling shakily, and whispered, I'm not dying like this. I'm not food. I'm not prey. Then she heard a soft creak deeper inside the cabinet. Jade froze. Slowly, she lifted the cleaver, turned. Something shifted in the shadows, and a low voice whispered, Jade. Jade's voice caught. Ava? No, not Ava. Someone else. A man stepped into the faint moonlight, eyes wild, face gaunt, covered in scars. Don't scream, he rasped. If you scream, they'll find us. Jade hesitated, cleaver still raised. Who the hell are you? He swallowed, voice shaking. I'm the one who escaped this family 5 years ago. He stepped closer, and I know how to kill it. Jade kept the cleaver raised as the stranger stepped fully into the moonlight. He was thin, almost skeletal, nervous, eyes sunken, hair overgrown and tangled. But he wasn't transformed, not like the family, not fully. He held up both hands. No weapons, no tricks. I was the only one still alive. Jade didn't lower the cleaver. What's your name? Damien, he said. Damien Crow. Jade swallowed. She heard that name before. In the old journal she skimmed. Entry 22, 1903. Proud children are too weak. Their flesh rejects the harvest. Only Blakes and Morgans thrive. Jade whispered, Your descendant. Damien nodded, jaw tight. Tried to feed me when I was a kid, but I didn't take to it. The creature rejected me. He saw me as a defect. He rubbed the scar on his cheek. So I ran. Jade excelled. The house groaned in the distance. Trees cracked under the weight of something massive. Jade whipped straight, sweat and tears from her face. Damien, please, tell me how to kill it? He hesitated and nodded slowly. Sit. Listen closely. You don't have long. Jade didn't sit. but she stayed still. Damien crouched beside a makeshift fire pit, poking dying embers with a metal rod. The thing out there isn't technically alive, not the way we are. Jade friend sure feels alive. It mimics life, Damien corrected. It imitates us, learns from us, takes from us. It grows based on what we feed it. Jade grimaced. Yeah, I've seen it. Damien nodded grimly. The stuffing is its seed, its blood, its reproductive material. Jade gagged. Feed it to people, it grows stronger, it bursts more of itself. Every Thanksgiving, the family consumes a small piece of it. Hey, Jade demanded. Damien's voice darkened. It binds them, keeps them young, makes them heal fast, but it also changes them over time, makes them monstrous. Jade shook her head. So how do we kill it? Damien hesitated. There is only one way. Jade stepped closer. I'll do it. Just tell me. He finally met her eyes. You have to starve it. Jade blinked. What? You have to make it consume itself. Jade stared at him like he was insane. That thing could eat a car. How the hell do I make it eat itself? Damien stood and paced. The harvest only grows when it consumes living human flesh. It doesn't like a corpse. It doesn't like animals. Okay. Jason, so if it consumes one of its own biological fragments, its own tissue, its own spawn, he looked towards the window, it will poison itself. Jade's stomach dropped. You're telling me to feed a piece of the monster to the monster? Yes, Damien whispered. Force it, trick it, make it bite a severed tendril, anything. Jade excelled shakily. And then what? It begins to fold inward, collapse, infect itself with its own rot. That kills it? Eventually, Damon said, but only if you destroy the heart after it begins. Jade gripped her cleaver. The heart. Inside the house? Damien nodded. Under the dining room, beneath the birchish pit, core of the harvest. Jade closed her eyes. God, of course it's in the house. Damien swallowed. I tried once. I got close, but I couldn't do it alone. Jade stared at him. Why help me now? He laughed bitterly. Because the creature hates me, wants me dead. Effective. I'm useless to it. He looked out the window. And if you die tonight, it grows bigger than anything we've ever faced. Jade inhaled sharply. So it's not just trying to kill me. Kill you? Damien said. No. He looked directly at her. It's trying to absorb you. Jade stepped back, skin crawling. Me? Why? Damien answered without hesitation. You smell like someone it once escaped its ritual. You haven't been eaten. You haven't been infected. You're untainted. His face hardened. It will evolve if it gets you, Jade whispered. Ava. Damien lowered his head. The child is already gone. Jade's voice closed. Saved me. She did, Damien said softly. But now it will use her. A tear slid down Jade's cheek. Well, I'm killing it for her. Damien nodded. I'm with you. Jade's eyes narrowed. Are you armed? Damien lifted his shirt slightly. A length of sharpened rebar strapped to his side. Always. Jade nodded. Then let's go. Damien hesitated. We can't go straight to the house. Why? Jade asked, frustrated. Because the creature will guard the direct path. We go around, he said. Through the woods, down the ravine, back the back stairway, straight to the heart chamber. Jade clenched her jaw. And then, Damien said, you shove one of its tendrils down its throat. Jade almost laughed. Sounds easy enough. Damien cracked a grim smile. Let's move. They left the cabin. The forest was quiet, too quiet, heavy with anticipation. Snow crunched under Jade's boot and under Damien's careful steps. The monstrous harvest creatures crawled somewhere deeper in the woods. Jade whispered, how big is it now? Damien sighed. big enough to change the landscape when it moves? Jade swallowed hard. Trees trembled in the distance. Branches snapped. A low rumble vibrated the ground. Jade whispered, "It's hunting." Damien nodded. "It is always hunting." They moved in silence, weaving through trees until they reached the ravine. The moonlight flickered across the snow. Jade winced at the sight. A massive trail of destruction carved through the forest floor. Trees toppled, earth split, blood splattered across rocks. Damien crouched to examine the tracks. It grew faster than I expected. Jade's pulse quickened. Fast enough to catch up? Damien stiffened. Yes. Jade's breath caught Damien. He raised one finger. Don't move. Jade froze. Snow to her left shifted slowly, deliberately. A tendril gliding through the powder like a snake. Searching, hungry. Jade held her breath. Damien whispered, "Doesn't see us. Not yet. But it senses heat." Jade's skin prickled. Damien reached into his coat and pulled out a small flask. "What is that?" "Rubbing alcohol," he said. He brought it to his lips, took a mouthful, and spat a mist of alcohol onto a pine tree 10 feet away. Jade frowned, then realized what he was doing. The frog of his breath was warmer there. More heat. Tendrils drifted towards the tree. Damien gestured at Jade silently. "Move." Slowly. They tiptoed through the snow, past the tendril, heart pounding, until they reached the rock overhang. Only once they ducked beneath it did Jade breathe again. "Holy shit," he gasped. "How did you—" "Learned everything the hard way," Damien muttered. He led her to a narrow ridge path that curled toward the house's back edge. Once they reached the tree line, the house came into view again, or what was left of it. The roof was gone. The walls were slitting outward. Pipes hung like exposed veins. The giant stuffing creature hunched over what used to be the dining room. Its enormous tendrils burrowed into the house, pulsing. Damien cursed softly. "It's nesting." Jade's stomach turned. "What does that mean?" "It's making more of itself," he whispered. "It's almost ready to spawn." Jade clutched her cleaver. "Can we stop it now?" Damien nodded. "No second chances, no mistakes. If it spawns, everyone for 50 miles is at risk." Jade reached into her pocket. The last thing she had grabbed from the kitchen. A braided knife. Short, efficient. She also had the cleaver, and Damien had rebar. Not a deal, none but enough. She looked at him. "Tell me again, how do we kill it?" "Feed it its own flesh," Damien said. "Then destroy the heart while it's weakened." Jade nodded. "Okay, let's do this." They crept toward the ruin's side entrance. Boards splintered, windows shattered, smoke curling upward. Just as Jade placed her hand on the broken frame, a soft voice behind her whispered, "Jade." Jade froze. Her blood turned to ice. She turned slowly. Ava stood at the tree line, but not entirely. Her spine was bent, tendrils pulsed beneath her skin. Her mouth twisted wrong. Her eyes glowed faintly pink. She wasn't human anymore. "Ava," Jade whispered. "Oh God, baby." Ava reached out a shaking hand. "It hurts," she whimpered. "I'm scared." Damien grabbed Jade's shoulder. "It's bait, Jade. Don't." Ava screamed suddenly, tendrils bursting from her throat, her body jerking, and the forest behind her exploded as the monster lunged through the trees, directly at Jade. Damien shoved her aside. Jade hit the ground, the monster's tendrils slamming into where she just stood. Damien cried out. A massive tendril impelled his side. Jade screamed, "Damien!" He coughed blood. "Go, Jade! Finish it!" The creature lifted him into the air, shrieking. Tendrils wrapped around his body. Ava's distorted voice echoed, "Hombre!" Jade ran for the heart chamber. Behind her, Damien screamed. Jade didn't look back. She couldn't. She ran into the house. Jade plunged through the shattered side entrance, boots crunching over broken glass and splintered wood. The air inside the house felt wrong now, thick, humid, and trembling like the whole structure was breathing. Somewhere above, tendrils smashed apart what remained of the second floor. Damien's scream still echoed in Jade's skull. She swallowed hard. Damien, I'm so sorry. But he shoved her towards the house for a reason. Because if she didn't finish this now, everyone within miles would be new fuel. She tightened her grip on the cleaver and staggered toward the basement stairs. Smoke drifted from the kitchen she'd blown open earlier. Flames flickered, but hadn't fully taken the house yet. Jade sprinted down the doorway that led to the basement. The underground steps warped, covered in grime. The smell hit her immediately. Warm meat, blood, rot. And worse, a pulse. Beat, beat, beat. Deep underground, like a massive organ was throbbing. She descended, breath hitching, and froze halfway down the stairs. Heart chamber. The butcher's pit was now a fleshly cavern. Meat-lined walls, thick wet membrane stretched over rafters. Blood rippled like oil across the floor, and at the center, suspended by tendrils, a massive beating heart, the size of an engine block, fleshy, pink, black, coated in slime. Every throb sent timbers through the wall. Jade gagged. Jesus Christ! The tendrils connected to the heart ran upward, through the floor, into the monster's hunts. Every vein fed the beast, every beat strengthened it, and if she destroyed it, the creature would die, but only if she weakened it first. She gripped the cleaver. Okay, she whispered, breath shaking. Step one, make it eat itself. Scanned the room and saw trundles on the ground, freshly shed, still wiggling. One had been severed during the monster's escape. Black ether oozed from its pulsing stump. Jade whispered, "Perfect." She knelt, grabbed the trundle, it thrashed in her grip. "Disgusting," she hissed, and then the house screamed. Wet, horrible, gnarled wail vibrated through every wall. Jade ducked behind a freshly pillar just as tendril exploded through the basement ceiling, slamming into the floor, dragging along the walls, sampling the air, searching. The monster had felt her. It was coming. "Hey," Jade whispered urgently. "I need you to eat yourself before you eat me." Clutched the severed tendril like a whip and crouched behind a collapsed support beam. Upstairs, the monster ripped through the last remaining roof beams. Snow fell inside the house. The entire structure groaned. Jade choked on terror before forcing herself to move. She darted into a corner, hiding behind a pile of broken butcher tools. The creature's tendrils slid across the ceiling, facing the air. One dropped down, sniffing the basement, withering along the pit floor. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Jade held her breath. Another tendril dropped, and another. A massive one plunged down like a spear, slamming into the pit floor inches from her head. Jade almost screamed. The tendril dragged along the ground, finding the severed piece Jade held, and began filling it over. "Take it." A massive tendril curled around the severed one, brought it upward towards the three-pot jar above. Jade whispered, "Eat it." Beast growled, teeth clicking. Several tendrils wiggled. Then the monster shoved it towards its jaw. Jade held her breath. The tendril disappeared into the creature's mouth. The beast swallowed. Silence. Then agony. The creature screamed, a deafening, rattling, bone-ripping shriek, as its own tissue began dissolving inside its gut. It thrashed violently, tendrils smashing into walls, splintering support beams, shaking the entire house. Jade covered her ears, screaming through the clenched teeth. The house buckled overhead. The monster roared and puked the turtle back out. But the damage was done. Its flesh had begun melting. The beast slumped to one side, tendrils losing firmness. Black ichor poured from its cracked skin. It roared, turning into a choking gurgle. Its body was fighting itself. Damien had been right. Jade stood. Time to finish this. Jade sprinted through the pit toward the suspended heart, the heart center. It pulsed harder, faster. Beat, 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 beat. The tendrils writhed from its sides and lashed at her. Jade ducked, rolled, slashed through tendrils, black fluid splattering the floor. More tendrils burst from walls, attempting to block her. She slashed one, ducked another and another, sprinted toward the central mass. The house rolled overhead. Plaster fell like snow. Something heavy crashed above. The monster was collapsing, dying, but not fast enough. Jade sprinted toward the heart, lifted the cleaver, screamed, "This is for Ava!" and slammed the blade into its heart. Blood geysered across her face. The heart convulsed. Tendrils wrapped around her waist, dragging her arm inward. Kicked them away, raised the cleaver again. Another tendril whipped her across the ribs, sending her flying backwards. She hit a fleshy wall and rolled. "No, no, no!" She scrambled up, heart pounding, body screaming. The heart pulsed violently, trying to self-repair. Jade screamed in fury and charged again. The heart fired tendrils in a coordinated attack. They lashed like whips. One struck her leg, another cut her arm, another slammed her into the ground. Jade spat blood. "You want me? Come and get me!" She heaved the tendril off. The heart beat faster, furious, terrified. Beat, beat. Jade lunged. The heart lashed out. She ducked and sliced right through the center. The cleaver sank halfway up the blade. The heart shattered. Black ichor erupted like a bomb, flooding the pit, drenching the walls, drenching everything. The entire house screamed, every beam, every floorboard, every tendril shrieking in a death agony. The monster above let out a final, horrible moan and collapsed. Jade staggered back, breath gone, legs weak. I did it. A heavy thud crashed overhead, then another. The weight of the creature was tearing the house apart. Jade limped towards the stairs, dragging the cleaver, gasping for air. A tendril, dying, whipped across the pit blindly, catching Jade's ankle and yanking her down. She slammed into the floor, but the tendril went limp, dead. Jade crawled up the stairs. The entire house buckled, groaning, and began to fold in on itself. She reached the top. The first floor was in ruins. The monster's body sprawled across the room like a collapsed cathedral of flesh, still twitching, still dying. Its skull cracked open like a rotten fruit. Jade climbed over its corpse, slipping on gore, gasping, until she saw it. Damien, pinned against the wall by a tendril, barely breathing, eyes half open. He rushed to him. "Damien! Damn it! Damien!" He coughed blood. "You did it. The heart is gone," Jade said. "You're gonna be okay. I'm getting you out." Damien shook his head weakly. "No. The tendril. It pierced my gut. Jade, I'm already..." She grabbed his face. "No! No, you're not dying on me, you hear me?" He gave a weak smile. "Finish it. Leave me. Go. Now." The house cracked violently overhead. Jade's I'm coming back for you. No, he whispered. Live. That's enough. His eyes dimmed. His breath stopped. Jade screamed in agony. English. No, no! Damien! The building collapsed. Jade ducked as the living room floor caved in. The creature's carcass sagged inward, liquefying. The house was seconds from complete collapse. Jade pressed her forehead to Damien's for one last second, then whispered, I'll make this mean something. She turned and ran. The front door had been ripped off its hinges. She sprinted outside into the snow as behind her the entire house fell in on itself. A shockwave of cold air blew outward. Meat and bone collapsed inward like a dying star. The monster's final scream faded to nothing, and then silence. Real silence. Snow fell gently through the night air. Jade collapsed to her knees, sobbing, breathing, alive. The monster was dead, completely, finally. Thank you for spending part of your evening with Stories at Night. I hope tonight's tale took you somewhere new. Maybe it made you smile, stirred a memory, or sent a pleasant chill down your spine. These stories remind us that even when the world grows quiet, imagination stays wide awake, whispering, laughing, and dreaming right alongside us. New stories arrive here 2 times a week, each one a little different, each one its own escape. So when you're ready to unwind again, come back, get cozy, and let the next story take you away. Until then, rest well, dream deeply, and keep listening to Stories at Night.